Hi BookTube, I'm here today with my reading challenge that I set for myself in the month of August. I've decided to read a graphic novel a day. I honestly contemplated doing a novel a day in August, but I thought that would be a bit too much. I don't have a lot of short books left on my shelves here, so I figured graphic novels are quite fast to read, and I'll just do that. So I have 18 physical novels here beside me, and the rest will be e-comics. So in no particular order, just the order that they're piled in beside me, we have Fables Volume 2. I read Volume 1 earlier this year. This is Animal Farm. And because there's 31, I'm not going to talk about all of them. Dream Gang by Brendan McCarthy, kind of really trippy one there. This is a classic one, Bone by Jeff Smith. This is Volume 1 out from Boneville, and I think this is more of a middle grade one. Then I have 3 Archie comics. We have Jughead, Volume 1, who's my favorite character. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So this is quite graphic, violent horror graphic novel. And then we have, of course, Archie, Volume 1. And I love this image on the back there. Then we have The Last Dragon. This is by Jan Yolen and Rebecca Guay. Really quite busy graphic fantasy. Then we have a non-fiction graphic novel. It was The War of the Trenches. It's about World War I, and this is by Jacques Tardy. Then Doctor Who 4 Doctors by Paul Cornell and Neil Edwards with Ivan Nunes and Comic Craft. And it's Doctor Who, obviously. This one is another non-fiction. I think it might be a fictionalized non-fiction, like it's talking about a historical event, but in a fictionalized way. This is Uneducation, a residential school graphic novel. This is Volume 1. And it's about residential schools in Canada, by Jason Eaglespeaker. Then the BookTube classic everyone knows about, Persepolis. This is the complete Persepolis. It's what I own, so I'll be reading both. It's usually split up into 2 volumes, but I'll just read the whole thing. Then Mouse. I only own Volume 1, so I'll just be reading Volume 1. Who knows, I may have to get Volume 2, and I'll probably get that as an e-comic, so yeah. And these are also historical fictions. Mouse is about this man's, Art Spiegelman's, father's experience during the Holocaust, and Persepolis is about growing up during the revolutionary period in Iran. And then another nonfiction historical is The Cartoon History of the Universe, volumes 1 to 7, From the Big Bang to Alexander the Great by Larry Gonick. And this is just like a funny history of the world. Yeah. And then we move into the superhero comics here. Mostly DC, to be honest, because I love my DC comics. This is The Death of Superman. Yeah. And then we have this really nice hardcover one, Joker by Brian Azzarello, with art by Lee Bermejo. Kind of the creepy Joker smile there. I'll show you Marvel last. And then Batman Black Mirror by Scott Snyder, Jock, and Francisco Francavilla. It has this really cool image that I love of the Joker on the back. Only Marvel superhero one, I believe. No, I have another superhero one in an e-comic. But I'm reading Marvel 1602 by Neil Gaiman, Andy Kubert, and Richard Eisnov. And this is basically the Marvel Universe set in 1602. And then we have the Encyclopedia of Early Earth by Isabel Greenberg, which was quite popular on BookTube, and it's about mythology and fairy tales and such, I believe. Okay, now for Ecomics. I'll put a list of all these in the comments section. I don't have pictures, sorry. So the first is, of course, Valerian and Laureline. I'm going to be reading volume 4, I believe, which is Welcome to Alflolol. Yeah. Then Ghost in the Shell, the first volume of the manga. The Unwritten, which has to do with an author, I believe. Ghost World, which is a classic from the 90s. A Contract with God by Will Eisner, which is the origin of the word graphic novel. Then 300, I love the movie, and have never read the book. Descender, of course, which is making the rounds. It's a Canadian author, I believe. All-Star Superman. I've pretty much exhausted the classic must-read Batman issues, so I'm moving on to Superman. Daytripper, which again I think has to do with an author in writing. Old Man Logan is the other Marvel comic that I'll be reading. I haven't read any X-Men comics, but this one seems interesting. Then Monstress, which I have heard about on BookTube quite a bit, and Trillium, which I know I've looked up a million times, and it made the cut, so I obviously like it, but I still can't remember what it's about. So, yeah. Oh, Trillium is by the same guy as Descender, Jeff Lemire. So yeah, that's why it's on the list. Yeah, that's it. That's my 31 graphic novels. Let me know. Don't give me any more recommendations for now. It took a long time to come to this list of just 31. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you for watching.